So now the weight is entirely at the bottom of the pocket, and oops. So I can loosen the screw, and I can now get the pulley out without having any pressure. And hopefully this Mason's line is strong enough to pull it back up. See if I can get this pulley to move now. This pulley needs some work. I can grab it with a pair of channel locks and move it. So it moves, it just isn't loosening up. These are just rivets. In the meantime, we need to put this window up. Normally, you take these out from the inside by removing this trim, which is already gone, then removing this stop, and then you can pull the window in. But these windows are curved, and it gets narrower as you go inside. So I've had to remove it from the outside by removing this trim. Now, with this one chain attached, this window is not so heavy that it pulls down. So I can just move this back, and I temporarily have this molding put back. And okay, so we're going to now go work on the pulley. So what I want to do here is remove this spindle or axle. I think I called it a mandrel before. And so these are mild steel, like a big rivet. I want to take out as little metal as possible, and I'm using this Dremel round this kind of rivet head off here. What I have here now is this little anvil and a circle, and I'm placing this piece on and driving this through. The pulley's in here. The pulley moves now. You can see there's all this rust, and so maybe what I can do is simply use an emery cloth, clean it up, and put this back in. I put the axle of the pulley in the drill press, and I wipe the rust off, and now we're going to put some emery paper against it. It's not shiny, so maybe it'll work. This thing is a casting, and it does have a little corrosion inside, but it's not distorted. If it was, castings are very brittle. Fitting a 3-inch drill bit, 3 is fine. Now my genius idea is to use this stainless steel bolt to fabricate it to look like this. See, this is the original. It doesn't go through very well. When I put the calipers on it and turn it, you can see it goes, it's 0.03 of an inch out of round. Some stresses on this thing distorted it, so it's not the rust, it's that this is somehow out of round. Now, I'm thinking stainless steel is not going to rust, but that's really not the problem here. It's distorted, but I have stainless steel, so I'm going to try it. If we can get that to something like this. Well, that seemed to work out okay. We just need to make that a little smaller and then cut it to length. This is the window we're dealing with, a kind of far away view. You can see that the thing is curved in a curved base situation. We have this upper sash now set aside. There's the bottom of that chain. It was nailed in with 2 finished nails. This one, whereas it doesn't have the little coil on there. I have this sit aside down there. Now I need to get this chain here attached to this, and you can see that there's a dog there. You can see that this doesn't go in, doesn't go inside. So I have to remove this parting bead, and the best way to do that is grab it with a pair of vice grips and just pull it like this. I already have it loose. It's not too bad. Sorry for the misaim. Now I can pull this in. I might have to remove this stop again. I already did. But you only need one out to remove it. So I'm going to put the camera down and grab it with both hands. Well, now I know why this short piece of chain there is, because this is broken. So I'm now going to have to replace the chain, which means I had to open up this pocket here. And they're upside down, but there's a screw, and I'll get in that pocket. So I need to set this thing somewhere so it won't go anywhere while I go inside and open up the pocket and get some chain. Okay, we have the pocket open. There's a pocket cover. All it was is one screw, and there's the weight. And the weight is suspended from the pulley up there that has the little circular thing in it. So let's take this out. We cut the chain, and now I'm going to pull it through the top and use this plus the other piece to measure how long that I'm going to need. The chain I'm using is heavier. I matched the length of the chain. There's the old chain laying on the ground. There's some scrap of this chain. And I'm going to now feed it through the top, drop it down, and tie it onto the weight. I have the counterbalance attached to the new chain. There's a chain with a screw in it. There's the little ring that goes in the window, and I'll just pull this down all the way until the weight's all the way up, and then put this ring in the edge of the window here. The pocket that receives this spring is about 1 hand span down. So with this weight just slightly off the bottom, this spring should be 1 hand span. So they're still pulling it up to the top. Before it was down here, the weight would have bottomed out. So I cut the chain and put it here. Now I'll just pull this down, all the way down, and pin it back up there and attach it to the window. The counterweight is all the way up, and pin is installed. So this is the entire length of the chain, and what I'm going to do now is to use here's how I situated the screw. I don't want that spring coming out, and then when the chain breaks it starts rubbing on the window, or it just comes out and rubs on the window. So just one screw to keep that spring in there and angled up there, and we're good to go. So on this sash, this weight has always been exerting force on that chain, so it holds it up. And this one is the one that we've been working on. So when I pull the pin there, then it'll pull the window towards back in position. But I just wanted to mention, during the whole process, the weight remains attached on this side so that the window really doesn't go anywhere. I just verified that the window does go all the way to the top, and the weight doesn't hit the bottom here before the window goes up. And I'm now going to put this parting bead, and you can see there's extra space in there, and that's because I don't have the stop bead on the inside, so that lets this move. This maneuver wouldn't have been possible without the stop bead on the inside. remove. There's the stop bead on the inside. I put 2 stainless steel screws in the parting stop, one at the top and one at the bottom. The one at the bottom should be way out of the way of the weights, and this should be out of the way of the weights, because you can accidentally put screws, especially the one that is in here. If this is too long, that weight will hit it, and I've had that happen before. This is the replacement pulley. Here's the other one with the ends of the chains now attached to the sash like I showed earlier. This now, like with one finger, goes all the way to the top. So this bead here, I need to put that back on this side, caulk it, and it will be ready to go. Earlier in the video I kept talking about the inside stop molding, and this is it. This one happens to be loose, and you can see these little adjustable grommet things in here, and they're screws. Now what I did with those dirty old grommets is I put them in this jar with a little water and some barkeeper's friend and let them soak there for a long time, and now I have these all shiny, ready to go back in. This is the window that I replaced the pulley on up here, and it got painted shut. Here's the pulley we replaced. Here's the middle bead. Actually can kind of move it a little, but because of the way these windows are built, it won't slide into the window because there are little, I don't know if you can see it down here, there's grooves that keep it towards the middle. So anyway, what I wanted to show, here's this bead that I keep talking about on the interior, and you can see I had to put toothpicks and little slivers of wood inside because these holes got wallered out from so many times that they've been into this. This piece just slips back in, and one thing to notice is that we fixed this so well, all you have to do is touch I'm not even moving the window, and it just goes up. So pull it down, and with a little nudge, it just goes up. So one of the things we can do to fix that, because it could just speed up, I use this paraffin in this. I turn it like this. You can see how much I've used off these corners, and I wax these slots up, sash glide slots up. But what I can do is put this piece here, I'll put this little grommet in, and like I did here, and then I'll be able to push it up against this and tighten it. So in order to do this, what I need is a drill bit that is just as big as a shaft, but not bigger than the thread. And then I'll drill a pilot hole with that. This takes 2 hands just to push this molding up against this, then turn this, and you can see it'll start pulling that little grommet thing into it. Push on this to adjust how tight, and then now the window doesn't just glide all the way up. So here we have all the little brand new brass screws with a little, I don't know what they call it, grommet ferrule, right? And it is adjusted so that it's up against this